Hey everyone, I think we're live. It says we're live. With YouTube, you never quite know though, do you? Oh, so how is everybody? It's been a little while since we've done this. It's been, the last time we did a live stream was before our 10,000 celebration. So it's been
like a month?
It's been like a month and a half since we did a live stream, so.
Sorry guys, we've been busy. Hi Sweden. Also thanks for the gifts, Slovakia.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Woohoo! Yeah, so there we go. Burry, yeah, I hope I'm saying your name right. He's one of our members on the channel, so
cool.
So he gets a special little thing in the chat room. Everybody knows that he's helping support the channel. That's pretty cool. Yes, it is noisy. We're running the air conditioner.
Currently 81 degrees outside.
Yes, and so
We don't want to melt.
we don't want the equipment to melt down either.
Melt down, so it's just.
Her mic. It says your microphone is off. Did you turn the power on?
On. You guys hear me?
Test again. Check, check. Test yours.
Test, check, 1, 2.
I'll check it just to be sure. It says that you're on, but I'm not getting any audio. It's not muted? Yeah. Let's try it one more time. I wonder if your mic's gotten damaged. Gotta love live, huh? So, well, we figured that one out. I might have to grab a mic for Whit to actually hold on to here. So, the reason we haven't done a live stream in a little while, we've been really busy. September has been our busiest month ever, actually. So, what going on? Actually, I think I might know what it is.
Print live?
There we go. Found it.
Is it working?
Found it, yep.
Okay. What happened?
I had used that channel on the mixer for something else for one of our recent events. Okay, sorry guys. We didn't have quite as much time to prep as we would have liked to.
At least you guys know our lives are really real. This is not live to tape. This
That's
is
right.
actually.
Yeah. It'd be really hard to do a Q&A.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense either. No, we'd have to like pretend we're getting questions. Everyone would be so confused.
So.
Hi from Chile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have a drink here. These finishes are fine. Saying I need a coaster.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. There's so many layers of polyurethane on here. No water's ever getting through there.
We have snacks in here all the time. It's a must.
Speaking of which, in the announcement yesterday you said you're bringing snacks, so.
Oh yeah.
Let's keep those
sort
out
of
frame.
a joke, but we always have snacks in the trailer,
Yeah,
so
we do.
Wasn't really super worried about it.
Alrighty.
Slovakia,
So yes,
so
we've
far
been really
away.
busy. I started to say we've been really busy. So September is the busiest month we've ever had.
It's probably the busiest month I've had this year.
Yeah.
For me.
Me as well. So
yeah.
beginning of the month we had Fork Fest, big music festival.
Oh yeah, that was this month.
That was this month. Yeah. And then lots of little ones. You haven't been involved with all of those, but we've had several wedding receptions, and then we had a huge virtual event we did yesterday. Oh, 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one next week. And then you were off shooting.
And then I was at Icon for a week.
Yeah. And then I've been
back up there this weekend.
I've been hired to do some technical directing on another project. That was last weekend, and then again this weekend.
Yep.
So crazy.
Overwhelming me with all. Most of it's over. When does
Yeah.
next month start? Next week? Next weekend?
Yeah, nothing on the docket yet, but most of these other events we picked up like 2 weeks before, or even 1 week before they happened. So who knows what's going to go on.
Well, next weekend's my brother's baby shower, so I'm booked.
Let's
Take
move
some
the
time for myself.
We'll just move the event to your brother's baby shower.
Yeah,
at the same
that
time.
will work. Hi from the UK. Hey,
So.
UK.
All right. First question.
Have you ever had to stream with different audio tracks for translation?
No.
I haven't.
There we go. There we
That
go.
sounds like a lot of work.
Well, kind of indirectly.
Not very
I got
fun work
Whit
either.
was out of town when we did this. We got hired to do an event back in June, where they were doing translations into Japanese and Korean.
Oh, yeah, you did that.
And one other, I forget what other language it was. So we actually had 4 streams, but we didn't have to deal with that. So all we did was send our English feed off to somewhere else. They did the translations, re-encoded and re-uploaded. So
You don't know all those languages?
well, I wasn't gonna brag, but Doug only speak English and not good.
Not good.
So yeah.
Oh, hey, from Barbados. Wow.
Yeah, we can pop up some of these. So
Innovative media. Oh, I think I remember seeing
yep,
that.
they're a regular. So okay.
Live view solo versus Teradek video series.
I have hardly used.
We have both, right?
I don't have the live view.
You don't?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Maybe
yeah.
we've just talked
Yeah,
about
we
it.
talked about the Video Go and the Video Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I've used the video series quite a bit. I use them all the time. We're using a Go right now for this stream. I've only used the live view when I've been on someone else's jobs. So my involvement there is basically start it, stop it, and that's about it. So I know people love them. The main reason I went with the video is because the subscription, there's monthly subscription, is optional. And live view really pushes you to the monthly subscription for the service, for the online service. So
Which one works better? Doesn't matter.
it doesn't quite, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know all the specifics about how the live view works, but I did a live stream Sunday a week ago where we really couldn't have it go down, so I was connected to Ethernet, I was connected to cellular, and then I had 2 cell phones that were connected and streaming as well, so I had 4 connections going simultaneously. I could have done more if I really wanted to. So, yeah, I don't know if the live view is capable of doing four connections at a time, but
Oh, okay.
so, anyway. All right, so we got to get moving. So
Also, thanks for the gift.
yes, so
What did
Alex,
we give him?
Alex, we gave him a Stream Team mug. He was the winner
cool.
of the trivia questions that we did.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I
and
remember
the
that.
10,000 subscriptions. We sent him a Stream Team and DJP mug. So some of the prizes are still on their way. I've been tracking them, and like they're in the destination countries now, but they haven't been delivered just yet. So
Wow.
it took us a while to even get them because we didn't have them in stock.
Oh, yeah.
So it took
okay.
like almost a month to get
And
them
then to
get them
ship
made,
out.
and then to get them shipped out. It took me a little while longer. So they went out 2 weeks ago, yesterday. So those in the U.S. already have them, but
Gotta
elsewhere
love
they're still on
international
their way.
shipping.
So yeah. So anybody else interested in merchandise, we do have our merch store set up. You should actually be seeing links to it
Below the
below this
video.
video. So yeah, we've got some cool shirts. We just did another shirt design recently. It was supposed to be delivered today. We could have worn it today, but it seemed to have been delayed in transit. So
Is it down there? Can people see it?
that one is available. Yes, it's the technical director one. TD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I called the shots.
That's right. Yep.
I said that, and we're like, we should make that
That's
into
a
a shirt,
shirt.
and then that happened. So
So yeah. Okay.
what are your thoughts on the Sony Alpha hybrids? Do you own Micro Four Thirds or full frame?
Well, I don't use DSLR or mirrorless style cameras for video much. A little bit.
You have the Canon.
You've used my Canon for that more than I
still
have.
have it. It is very nice.
So
It's got a huge sensor.
yeah, full frame
So-
sensor is enormous.
Yeah, it's
I
full frame.
like the look of full frame, but it means video work is hard because your focus is so shallow that someone moves an inch and they're out of focus all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's
so,
more for film, not
yeah.
live
Yeah,
type
for live
stuff.
that would be a nightmare.
No one wants
so-
to do that.
But the Sony Alphas, I used to own one, but I sold it because I wasn't ever using it, not because I didn't like it. And the only Micro Four Thirds I've ever had is, well, it's this one up here. It's a Blackmagic Design Micro Studio Camera, 4K. Not a huge fan of that one. It requires so much light, so much light, and even then it's really noisy. So.
Hi, Sweden.
Yep. Hello, Sweden. We'll give you a little shout out there.
I'd love to go to Sweden.
Yeah,
they have one of the best. It's supposed to be one of the best places to live. I heard.
Yep.
Economic wise and everything. So.
Okay. Question from Danny.
Teranex AV, what benefits to adding this to my signal chain as last thing before my hardware encoder?
Okay, so the Teranex AV is one of Blackmagic's video converters. It'll take basically any video format you want and convert it to any other video format that you want. So if you've got standard definition and you want 4K out of it, it'll do it. If you got 1080p at 30 frames per second and you need 25 frames per second, it'll do it.
That's cool.
I don't know any reason to use it before an encoder if your encoder actually accepts the type of signal that you're encoding, because what's it going to do for you? But I'm sure there are situations. I've used my Teranex to prepare video for sending over to like a TV station, because they have very strict standards on what video signals they'll accept. So I run it through my Teranex for make it compliant. But other than that, I don't use my Teranex hardly at all. With one exception, when I have friends that they have old videos they want to upconvert to something modern.
Oh.
So they got their VHS and they want 4K out of it. Whatever. So, yeah. All right, we'll do a couple more location shout outs. We got one from Poland.
3 p.m. Bayesian time.
I don't know what that is. And then another one from.
Oh, I think that
England.
was from. Barbados.
Okay, Tim.
Do you ever do crane shots in your productions?
Absolutely. We actually quite a bit. So
Paul has a really sweet jib.
Dave does too.
Oh, Dave does too.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Paul's got a big one. He's got a 21 footer.
Yeah, and he made it.
No, he bought it.
He bought it.
Yeah.
But it was made custom or something.
Special order, but yeah.
Special order. Okay.
And then both of them have 7-foot jibs. We use the 7-foot ones all the time. If we're doing a concert and there's room.
Yeah, we did one for Save the Music. I think that's the last one.
And then the entire Real Session series, we used a jib for that. And the Follow the Flag, we didn't do it this year, but last year we had a Paul's long one, 21-foot one set up so we could like fly over the crowd and.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, so that's fun.
The only downside is they take a little while to set up.
They do, yeah. And
so if you're in a rush, then it's not necessarily the best.
Right, and you got to have somebody who knows how to operate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't, the shots don't look good. You know, you have to really coordinate the movement of the camera with the movement of the crane so that the camera's point is still pointed at your subject as it's moving around. So. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting past the comments where Whit's microphone was off. Yes.
It's not my fault.
Got that fixed.
How is Utah?
Utah's awesome.
It's a little smoky around the mountains.
Not too bad,
I went up to Salt Lake. You couldn't see some of them.
Oh, wow.
And then Utah County just hit orange for COVID.
Yeah. They're locking things down again.
I'm not going anywhere.
So yeah, gatherings of people are limited to 20 or less now. So
people just don't listen here.
People don't wear masks very much here.
So
Whit and I both are pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Except when we're working together, but.
Well, we don't go anywhere.
Right. We're cool. We're good.
If I do, we wear masks. So
we're good.
We're responsible.
So. But yeah, Utah's good, and this is a super pretty time of year. This is where all the waves in the mountains are changing.
Yeah, we usually last year we did I went with you guys to the fall pictures, so we should do that soon.
Yeah. If we can find time, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Another couple of weeks, and it's all gonna be brown. So I think we already covered that one. Okay.
Do you have any recommendations in terms of MIMO antennas
Perfect,
or
yeah.
cellular boosters when doing live streams with e.g. mobile routers?
We actually did a video on cellular, and I did some
Yeah.
antenna recommendations in that one. So let's go watch that video again. So
Yeah, that's very thorough.
yeah. Okay.
What is the trailer weight?
That's kind of a personal
A
question.
lot. I don't know.
I don't know what the trailer wants to say.
Being offended.
Uh,
I don't know. Did you ever figure that out?
I've never
you know
weighed
what the
it.
original one was.
Empty, it was a little over 2,200 pounds. And I think I probably added about 1,500 pounds worth.
Okay.
That's a guess. That's entirely a guess. I've never taken it to a weigh station. So probably in the neighborhood of 4,000 pounds.
Wow.
So that's my guess.
Yeah.
It's heavy enough that my ridgeline doesn't like to pull it up hills very quickly. So
Hey, Ireland.
yeah, another one from
Ireland
chat.
looks pretty too. I'd love to go
I would
there.
love to go to
it's
Ireland.
It's very green.
Yeah, Ireland is one of those places I
My
would love to
favorite
go.
color.
Yeah. Yep. You love your green.
I love green.
Okay. One from Katie.
I've just set up my new Atem Mini Pro ISO this week. I've set up Companion to control via iPad Pro. Worked out using QSK, DSK.
Want me to short again?
Macros next. Can Hyperdeck sources be added to the program? If so, how?
Can Hyperdeck sources be added to the program? Well, yeah. I mean, you just connect to Hyperdeck with HDMI, and then the switcher can actually automatically start playback. So you go into Atem software and tell it, I have a Hyperdeck connected to input 3, and then whenever you go to input 3, it just automatically starts playback. So it's really convenient and nice and easy. So, yeah. Yep. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Katie. Katie's very much a regular contributor. She comments.
Oh, did
quite-
I thank her?
Mhm.
Is that Katie? Hi, Katie.
Yeah. Okay.
I recognize the name. What happened to the 4th of July BTS? I don't see it on YouTube anymore. Do you want to explain?
I actually set it to private. I don't know if I should say all the reasons, but partially because I don't like showing the outside of my trailer online, and that was very visible in that video. I don't want it to be easy for people to recognize my trailer. So if I do show it from the outside, I don't leave the video for very long. So that's the short answer.
You could, well, actually, I don't know. Possibly just cut out the parts that show the outside and re-upload it.
You want an editing project?
If you'll pay me.
Okay.
Hi from Johannesburg.
Nice.
Wow.
We are getting a very international audience, aren't you?
Yeah, that's cool.
And then here's one from Canada.
Watching from Newfoundland, Canada. What are your headphone mics?
So these are AKG C111 LPs. So I use these because they're cheap. They actually sound decent too.
No, they do, and I like the look of them.
Yeah.
Look of them. They're very non-intrusive. Like you barely even see them. So.
Yep.
I'm actually from Calgary. If anyone's interested, Canada. My grandma just came down to live with us, so it's been interesting. But my mom's whole side's from Canada, and then I have dual citizenship, even though I grew up here. But
Technically a Canadian.
love Canadians. We're all super funny and nice.
All right. This one.
Have you ever used Restreaming as one?
I have not. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
Maybe elaborate a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe something I have to look into. If it's something that might be useful, let us know. So. Okay.
Opinion on stream decks for macros.
Well, we can actually talk about the thing we did 2 days ago.
Oh, did we do that?
We did, yeah.
It's all a blur.
So this little guy, can't see it on camera, but I have a stream deck over here, and the event we did 2 days ago was an award show for a film festival, and we had lower thirds and video to playback ahead of time, and Whit ran the whole thing. She did all of it.
It's a lot of graphics.
Yeah, and I used the stream deck to make that way easier.
Yeah, so I just literally had 3 buttons on there instead of however many steps it would have taken.
I showed her all the steps to do an upstream key and to initiate playback.
Oh.
It's like her
I'm
eyes
so
glazed,
glad I didn't
her
have
eyes
to do
glazed
that.
over.
I was
and
like, I would have
got this
never
look of
been able.
panic.
I would
It's
have
like-
freaked out
So yes,
the whole time.
it's really nice to use macros.
But yeah, I just had literally. Can you write what the button says? Okay, so I had a button that said lower thirds, very clear, and then I had a play and stop button to go through graphics.
Right.
So easy.
So made it way,
It was
way, way
really
easier.
nice. I would highly recommend doing that.
Yeah. So, all right.
Hey, stream team. Oh,
Stream
did we
team is
miss
back.
one? There's one right above that.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you had a look at the Raspberry Pi Hyperdeck simulator?
I have not. I didn't know there was such a thing. That actually sounds
That
kind
sounds
of
made up. That's not real.
It probably is. All right.
Hi from Bahamas.
Yeah.
I love the Bahamas. I've been there 2 times.
I have not. So,
It's nice. The beach is really nice. The water.
cool. All right.
I love our live view solo is easy to use.
Yeah, that's what I hear from everybody who has them. The people who have the live views really seem to like them. So, main reason I went with the Teradek is optional subscription, and I already had other models, so like it's all part of the same ecosystem. I can use the same subscription on multiple units. So, yeah. All right, Hacking Hollywood.
I just got the Bolt 4K for wireless.
It's something. There we go. There's more of it.
It's still 5G, so it's limited on connectivity, but it's exciting so far.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I have not used the Bolt 4K yet. We actually don't produce anything in 4K other than our live stream, or other than it shows here for the YouTube channel, so. It never fails.
Don't jinx it.
Never fails. It always works just fine until we do a live stream.
Yeah, so far no 4K stuff. I know we were I was rendering something. I was like, wow, it's so fast. And you're like, that's because it's not 4K. I was like, oh.
Yeah, the thing we did 2 days
I'm
ago.
so
The
used
video
to
was what, an hour
4K.
and 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, and
It rendered in 10 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah. it's
Ridiculous
1080p.
how
She's
fast
so
that was.
used to working in 4K for everything we do for the channel.
Yeah.
So but even those render in less than real time now. So 20-minute video renders in like 12 minutes. So yeah. Alrighty.
How much length of cable do you carry on the trailer?
I guess it depends on what type of cable you're talking about. For fiber, I've got
There's a lot of cables.
two main fibers. So I have one that's 150 meters, another one that's 200 meters.
And
I've
feet, what is that?
about 3 times that.
Okay.
So 150 is almost 500, and then 200 is like 650 feet. Pretty long. Never had to use all of either one, let alone string the two together. And then for power cables,
You didn't have to for the concert? Wow.
No, that 200-meter one was long enough to go out into the woods. Just that one single cable, and there was still cable left over.
Oh.
So plenty long. I measured it was 300 feet from the trailer to the. Yeah, and so barely used half of the cable actually. So.
Wow.
Yeah. In terms of power cable, oh my gosh, I got a whole pile of extension cables back there, don't I?
Yeah.
And then
The whole door is full of
the
cables.
whole back door is just cables top
Just
to bottom.
cables, yeah.
And then for my power distro, got a fat massive cable. QLab's carrying that one.
It's very heavy.
I have 250 feet for that one. Again, never had to use both of them, but I probably should get a third one just in case. So that's 50 amp cable. It's enough to power the whole trailer. I don't know why every time. It's just for the live streams. It's
just
perfect every
because-
other time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. All right.
I started with the Video Pro because of this channel, but mine didn't work very well. I just stopped regularly. Teradek stopped responding after I made a video of the problem. Now
Yeah,
I've
I've heard that story before. I haven't experienced those problems myself, so I know some people have. Maybe it's geographic issues. Who knows? But
I don't know.
I mean,
either.
I've used the Teradek Video Pro and Video Go for all sorts of stuff. And
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had problems.
Not our fault. There's been other problems. So,
yeah. Well.
Yeah, the Forkfest, there was no audio on one of the outputs. Turned out it was an HDMI problem. It had nothing to do with the
Right.
Teradek.
Yeah.
And then our live stream, where we did the entire stream and it didn't actually go live, that was
That was not the Teradek.
That was not the Teradek. That was YouTube. All right. Okay.
Currently watching your stream while cleaning and doing media transferring from VHS to digital.
There you go.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Because I'm not the only one that has to do that. So, yeah. There you go. This is a fun one.
Let's ask everyone to leave a like to push the channel.
So that can help.
Yeah, thanks.
Sharing is even more effective. Like just getting more views. So
Views is the biggest thing.
views is the biggest thing for sure. Yeah.
Hello from Jerusalem.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. My parents just went there last year for
Oh, really?
a cool trip. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
A Sony 5100 plus SDI converter makes a cheap static wide shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fairly inexpensive. That would be good. Yeah. So I wouldn't try and record that long, but yeah, just as a camera for live, that'd be cool. Okay.
Are there any features you're missing on the Atem switchers, and what would your ideal switcher look like?
Okay, so I have the Atem 2ME Production Studio 4K. The one thing it does not have that a lot of the other ones now have is the automatic frame converter, frame rate converters on every input. So I have to make sure that all my sources going into the switcher are the exact same format that I set the switcher to. So we're shooting this in 2160p at 29.97, so I have to set all the cameras, all the computers, everything in that same format. So their Constellation will convert, their Atem Mini will convert. They have one other one, it's the Television Studio Pro 4K, it will also do conversion, but yeah, this line doesn't do that. So I would love to have that. I would also love to have Dante on the audio.
Of course.
On a switcher, yeah. I've become such a huge fan of Dante. So. Okay.
Teranex AV really looking to standardize video to broadcast legal, but I'm buying it for other purposes. Yes, TV station feed is a factor.
Yeah, it goes back to the earlier question. So as long as your video encoder accepts the video format that you're shooting, the Teranex is kind of unnecessary. So. Okay.
Hi, thanks for a great show. What are your recommendations for controlling the audio levels in the Atem switchers for someone doing a one-man band? Do any Mackie devices work work with the Atem Mini too?
Well, yeah, because essentially you're just doing an separate audio mix and then feeding that into the Atem. I would not recommend actually doing an audio mix inside the Atem switchers unless you absolutely have to. Not because they're not capable. I mean, they're not great, but having to go through touchscreen controls on a computer to do audio mixing is not fun. So it's way better to have actual faders and knobs and things like that. So having a separate audio mixer really makes a huge difference in ease of use. But basically any mixer will work. So you just need to have I just need to connect the output of your mixer into an audio input on your switcher. So, yeah. Okay.
I've been a BMD guy for years. I know you are as well. I've been looking at Tricaster the last 2 weeks after a forum thread and just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about it. Tricaster.
I haven't used them much, but I'm generally not a fan of the computer-based switchers. Mostly because a lot of stuff we do, we have to deal with iMag, so we're just having to send an image up to a projector. Which, if you're doing that, having the lowest delay from whatever's live to your video output device is pretty important. And all those computer-based switchers, they have at least 2 additional frames of delay compared to a hardware switcher. So, and if you're shooting at 30p, 2 frames is a 1/15 of a second, and that's on top of whatever other delay there is, so it's noticeable. So.
Let me turn off this monitor. It's flickering like a crazy person. I had to work when I was out of town. We were doing live stream. It was a 3-second delay. And let me tell you.
Because it was remote, yeah.
3 seconds is a very long time for a TD to tell you what to do. And then because they were in a different city, in a different place, telling you over the comms what to do. And we had a new TD also, and he kept forgetting. So you'd start your move, and then he'd tell you to do something else, but you've already started. And 3 seconds, you wouldn't think 3 seconds is a long time. It was a very long time.
Absolute eternity.
So.
Yeah.
Delays are not fun.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. Just
Delay.
wanted to
Yeah.
vent
Delay.
about
Delay
how
is not good.
difficult That was.
So, but all the computer-based switchers, they actually add additional delay.
Right. Yeah.
Compared to hardware switchers. These hardware switchers that I use, the delay from input to output is less than 1 frame. It averages a half a frame. Whereas like most of the new tech Tricaster models, the delay is 2.5, between 2 and 3 frames. And that, especially if you're shooting lower frame rates, that's very visible. So I wouldn't do that for iMag. It'd be okay for live streaming.
Yeah.
No one's going to notice that. But if you're doing iMag, which we do a lot of, wouldn't be great. So, all right.
Also, apparently we were shooting in 24 frames the first 2 days.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to. That wasn't my fault, but I just thought it was interesting.
Nice. Okay, so we got some conversation between people here.
I just COVID update on Orange from a guy in Alpine. He blames BYU and UVU students partying. I think it's that, but also I've been seeing soccer games everywhere, like families out in the open. I just saw a couple the other day, and kids running around.
And,
like there's just so many kids here. I don't think
other events that we've done.
It's
like,
realistic.
We helped to shoot a outdoor boxing thing at a fitness convention.
And we did a whole.
I think we are about the only ones wearing masks in the entire
There
place.
were
thousands of people.
Thousands of people, and it was just families and adults mostly.
Yeah.
Just
and then
not caring.
The Fork Fest that we shot.
Oh.
Harms nobody.
Those are
masks.
definitely college students.
Yeah,
mostly.
and almost
for that.
almost no masks there.
Yeah.
Either. Everybody on the crew had them.
Yeah.
We all wore them. But like the people who were in attendance, almost none.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I think a lot of it is like school's back in, and there's just no way to regulate children wearing masks
That's what Spencer
all the
said
time.
here. So yeah.
You know, like that's just I see kids walking home all the time, and they're just like most of them aren't wearing masks. It's just impossible to regulate that. So.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So.
Do you guys handle the audio mixing when you do live music events? Any recommendations on good effect chain, compression, tester? Is that what this is?
Compressors, de-esser, EQ, etc.
Singers, any HW recommended for those effects?
So it's been pretty rare that we actually have to do a separate mix. Most of the time for the events they have somebody doing that already, and we generally just tap into it, and then if there's an audience, which there aren't that many of these days, just get some ambience mics to pick them up. So we haven't had to do it, but we certainly can. I mean, the trailer is very well equipped for that. Got a 40-channel mixer back there. I also have a separate mixer that we can use inside of a venue. It's basically the same model, just a slightly smaller version of it. And we build a mix there and send that up to the trailer. Really? Someone's Skyping me?
That's bad timing.
As far as effect chain, it's kind of hard to make a recommendation on that because it varies with the genre of music. It varies with the style of the artist. I mean, it's so...
Yeah.
There's no right way to do that. You just got to find out what's going to work for any given song, for a performer. It really varies. I always throw some compression on. I don't use a lot of de-essers, actually. EQ. We're going to be doing a video on how to EQ audio here before too long. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I can't say turn up this frequency, turn down this one. There's no general rule to go along with that. As far as hardware for effects, that's very much a style thing. I've used Lexicon processors a lot in the past, but in this day and age, most mixers have decent effects built in, so it's just way more convenient. It might not sound as good, but it sure is a lot easier to set up. A one piece of gear instead of 6, wiring them all together. So, yeah. There's one for you.
Has Whit had much chance to use her new upgraded PC? No.
We've been
like
busy.
we said, it's been the busiest month of the year for me, for sure. And then I was out of town the week I got it. I literally went home, just unpacked the monitor, and then packed for my trip. So I didn't even get to use it. And then now I've hardly used it. I started editing for that editing challenge. I didn't get very far just because we were so busy. So it's really fast. It works
fast.
really well. I really like it. One night, like when I wasn't super busy, I spent like 5 hours straight just playing with it. So it's really nice. I'd love to start using After Effects more. I've been trying to relearn it just because I haven't used it too much.
Yeah,
so.
you got to use it a little here a few days ago. So yeah.
So I got to reacquaint myself with that software, and then I'll hopefully do something soon.
So another one for you.
Cool. We spent 40 years in Alberta. I lived in Spruce Grove, Athabasca, and Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray sounds somewhat familiar, but I have an aunt in Edmonton, and then everyone else is in Calgary, and then a couple cousins in Lethbridge, if anyone knows where those are.
I know my dad has friends in Lethbridge. I've been
Lethbridge is actually a very Mormon city.
Yeah. I think
oddly enough.
That may be one of the places I've actually been. There. Okay.
Rest Living as One is the company that makes hardware streaming encoders.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Which program do you use for CG and titles?
Okay, well, 2 answers.
I should know this.
Do you remember? Do you remember which one we're using? You remember who wrote it?
Who wrote the software?
Yeah. Okay, it's
my brain
the software we're
hurts,
using here is
sorry.
called H2R Graphics. It's by John Barker, who does the Here to Record YouTube channel.
Oh.
So, yeah, the guy who
I
joined
that.
on the live stream. So, yeah, this is the software we're using for these comments is H2R Graphics. For other stuff, I actually use software that I wrote myself. Something I wrote. Gosh, that was back in 2004, and I've hardly updated it since then. But it's the software I use is designed just produce stuff as quickly as possible. So if you're doing a lower third deleter, just type in the name, hit 1 key, and it builds everything for you. So it does a bunch of other things too. It even has a teleprompter feature built into it. Control it with the Xbox. Xbox controller.
Yeah, I still have yet to do that.
We haven't done anything with a prompter, so.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your recommendation for crew in ear communication?
For communication with the crew, we just use two-way radios. So.
Yeah.
Little Midlands. These are GMRS. Fortunately, 3 years ago, FCC made these legal for business use. So we've been using those. I do have a license.
In case anyone's worried about that.
Yep. So we've been using those, and actually have those wired into the trailer too. So if you transmit something on the radios, you also hear it in the intercom system. So it's really handy. Those work pretty well, and I've got the in-ear pieces to go with those. So been happy with that. It's worked pretty well. So.
Have you used the Atem Mini for an actual piece of work?
Nope. I got it just for the YouTube channel. So.
Yeah, I guess you haven't really needed
No,
to.
I have two nicer switchers, so
Yeah.
and one of them can produce 2 programs at once. So I don't think I've ever actually had to use more than one switcher at a time. So, but Atem Mini would be third in line. So I use SDI. Atem Mini is only HDMI.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
So that's a big part of it.
We don't do HDMI.
Yeah. So
Or not usually.
yeah.
Production 4K line doesn't have frame converters, but has less lag because of it.
Yeah, I believe that if you send the native signal into one of the switches that does have the converters, that there is no additional lag. It's only if you're doing conversion. But yeah, if you're doing conversion, if you're switching 1080p 30 and your camera's saying at 1080p 24, there absolutely is additional delay for the conversion. So it's still best to make sure you're sending the native format. So. Danny again.
Behringer Air with dungeon style auto mix is great for a one-man shop like me. I use a dedicated iPad for
Works
control surfaces.
great for talking heads. Don't use it for music, for singers. The Dan Dugan thing that he's talking about, it's an auto mix where it automatically raises and lowers audio for different people. So like when someone's not talking, it lowers
music,
it.
That would
music, it's awful. Yeah, it's absolutely disaster. So, yeah. Okay.
How did you get into the live stream business, and how long ago?
Well, let's see. We can go back quite a ways, actually. So,
For him, not me.
yeah, she's new to it.
It's only been within the last year, really.
Yep. First live streaming I ever did. This is a long time ago. So I was doing software work for a startup back in the dot-com boom of 2000, 2001. And they were doing a giveaway. They were giving away a car, and they wanted to live stream going up to the person's door, announcing it, showing it. And
they wanted to live stream
They
that.
wanted to live
Wow,
stream that.
that's such a long time ago.
It is such a long time
It's
ago.
like not even, wasn't even really a thing.
It was not a thing then.
Was YouTube even a thing?
No, YouTube was still,
Yeah.
YouTube was still 4 years away.
Wow.
So, but yeah, they knew that I had done stuff with video and I had equipment, and so they asked me to take care of it. So, internet was not fast enough, so we had to do some really crazy things with wireless. Basically, it was Wi-Fi before it was Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know.
We live in an area with a lot of mountains, which is really nice for trying to send wireless signals. So I had a guy up on the mountain who was receiving the signal and then bouncing it back to my house, where I had really fast internet for the time. So anyway, we pulled in front of the guy's house who won the car. I had my Jeep there, set up all the equipment in the back of my Jeep, ran a cable out to a camera. I had a laptop in the back of the Jeep that was doing the encoding. So that's...
you just sort of like fell into it.
Kind of, yeah.
That's
so
what happened with me.
That was... Yeah, that was something... It was a one-off. I didn't start doing it regularly after that. The first event that I actually did real live streaming for was my photography course that I taught back in 2007, which we showed a little bit of on the 10,000 subscriber celebration.
Yeah.
So, but YouTube was not doing live streaming then. I was having to use some Microsoft software to do the streaming. So I had to pay for a live streaming server up on the cloud, and then did the encoding at my house, and then sent it up. So anyway, so that was 2007, and I've kind of done off and on mostly since then. So yeah, that's kind of where it really started. But long answer to a short question. So. All right.
What mics are you using for audience mics?
It varies. I think the ones I probably use the most are Octava MC012, but I also use my Rode NT5s for that quite a bit. I have used my AKG C3000s a number of times for that. I have a Sony, I don't remember the model number, it's a Sony stereo mic. I've used that a time or two. But yeah, I don't really have a consistent. Yeah, so anyway. Okay, Luke.
What do you use the server in your trailer for?
Mostly these days it's where Whit does her editing.
Yeah.
So it was originally just going to be a file server to store media after an event. So during an event we can copy memory cards off to that, and then it's got high-speed network connections to all the other computers in the trailer. And then when Whit needed a place to edit, like kind of reconfigure things a little bit, and it's gotten way more use since she started doing that. Most of the time I never even turned it on.
Yeah, because when we shot my short film, he offered to let me edit it here because I didn't have anything. Yeah. And we shot it in 4K, and I was really worried about it. And you already had all the assets, so I was like, okay. Yeah. And that's how editing started. And
the front monitor wall works really well for editing. So
it's really nice.
Yeah, but I never designed the trailer specifically to be used as an editing suite. It just worked out that way. Okay, yeah.
Get Curtis Judd to joint live streaming talks, LUFs, and such audio levels. Wonder if the Teranex AV will help legalize in audio levels.
No, it really doesn't do that. But I'm not familiar with Curtis Judd. That confused me there for a minute, because we've done some work for a guy named Judd recently.
His name's
Craig.
Craig, though, not Curtis.
So like, wait a minute, how would Danny know about that?
Who are you?
Are you camped outside my house watching us? So yeah, the Teranex AV doesn't really do anything with audio levels. So if you're having to deal with LUFs, then you're talking about compressors, and there is dedicated hardware specifically out there for handling that. So yeah. So LUFs is a few years ago. I don't know if you noticed, but television commercials started to get really, really loud. You'd be watching a TV show, and then you go to a commercial and get really, 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 really loud. Congress stepped in and passed some laws about how loud audio can be.
Oh,
and so there's this new thing that's called LUFs. It's basically, so it's kind of a number that indicates how loud things sound to your ears. So these days you have to be compliant when you're broadcasting.
Yeah.
Your audio has to be within a certain range, so they use LUFs to monitor that. So
That makes sense.
yeah. Okay.
Do you think Blackmagic will ever come out with a hardware instant replay system?
I kind of doubt it. They've got all the pieces, but that's not a high volume product. They wouldn't sell a lot of them, and yeah, I doubt they would. But so it's like
New member, welcome Neil. Whoop whoop.
so yeah, awesome. The memberships are actually growing pretty good. We've added a couple more in the last couple days. So
Yeah, if you guys are interested, we have a really long BTS of the Fork Fest.
hmm
It's really cool. It's a good video.
Yep. And
But
that's
it was
only available
wanting more BTS
for
stuff.
the superstars.
Superstars.
Level. Yeah, you have
Yep.
to be the top level to see that. And we'll be doing more.
It's a long video too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's very detailed.
I've been going back and, well, I've done one so far, but I plan to do more. Going back to like old videos, BTS videos that we did years ago, and re-releasing those for the superstar level as well.
Mm.
So,
Oh, cool.
yeah. Alrighty.
Atem Mini is useful for running Zoom conferences downstream of a big Atem switcher. During breaks between sessions, you switch to interstitial content on the Atem Mini while you reset the
Yeah,
room.
that's one use. Typically, I do that with second ME on my switcher. So.
Hmm.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
Thanks for answering. I was actually wondering if you know about a good physical audio controller for the Atem
So,
for simple
yeah.
jobs without a separate mixer.
So that's a control surface, yeah. You get a Fairlight. Just kidding. So they do support the Mackie Huey protocol, so any control surface that supports that you can use. It's still very limited in its capabilities, though, so you're not going to be doing things like adjusting your EQ. I'm going to fix that flickering. I know how to do it now, so I know what's going on. No.
You know how to do it now.
Yes.
Hi, UK.
So it's
I was actually supposed to be in the UK this summer for a feature film that I was going to be script supervising on, but COVID obviously is making that impossible, especially now. So I thought everything would be cleared up by now, and then it's worse.
yeah. We were doing pretty good for a long
Tra-la-la.
time, and then within the last few weeks it's gotten bad. So yeah.
So,
Alright, okay.
have you ever had a Blackmagic microconverter overheat and shut down once it cooled down and it started to work again? Any ideas?
I've never had one overheat to the point where it stopped working. I have seen them where they start to flicker. We've seen that here on the
Yeah.
live stream. Actually, I have a solution for that. So I picked up these adhesive heat sinks, and you peel this off and then attach it to the front, and it actually does a really good job of cooling them off. So I've put these on quite a few.
Adhesive heat
Yeah.
sinks.
Yep. So I got these on Amazon. They were cheap. It's like a pack of 4 was like $8 or something like that. So, but it has cured the overheating problem. Most of the time, if you're not sticking them in a really you're not sticking them somewhere where you're not sticking them somewhere where there's a lot of hot air, or stacking them, they're fine. Keep them out of the sun too. Yeah, adding some heat sinks like that could make a big difference. You just stick them. I don't have any handy, but you stick them on the front, dead center. That's where the heat is actually coming from. So. Okay.
I need a solution for a camera that will be about 100 feet away, SDI fiber, or something like the Mars HDMI wireless.
Okay, so if you
Fiber,
don't,
right?
fiber would be kind of ideal, but it's not necessary at 100 feet.
Okay.
SDI is going to work really well for that. I wouldn't do HDMI for that. And I also wouldn't do wireless unless you actually really do need wireless capability. And by the way, the Mars series from Hollyland has a significant delay on it. So it's 2 to 3 frames. So,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. All right.
High five, Doug and Whit. Your authentic and candid approach to sharing real know-how is a welcome breath of air.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. We're just being ourselves.
Yeah, we're terrible liars.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny though, like both Whit and I are actually pretty quiet.
Low key.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're more talkative on camera than we are in real life. So if you were to hang out with us, you'd be like, why is nobody saying anything?
Unless I'm on a film set, I'm pretty talkative.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, and when I'm talking about video, I can get talkative. But
Yeah. That's basically it.
Yeah. So
How do you decide where you position your camera for an event? How would you position them for a conference with speeches? Say you have 3 to 4 cameras.
well, a lot of that's going to be dependent on where you can place the cameras. A lot of times you're
Location.
restricted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're very often some of the last people to show up. They've already got chairs set out, and so you can't just stick it anywhere you happen to want to. But for a conference, I would definitely want to have one that's straight on with a speaker,
Yeah.
and then have a wide one, so you can always cut to that. And then
We usually have one on either side
Yeah.
to get coverage
Yeah.
of the venue.
little
depending on what it
less
looks like.
necessary for a conference type of event.
Yeah.
Really nice for music events, but for
Mhm.
conference, not quite as necessary. But a lot of times you're not going to have a lot of choice. So
Yeah, you just kind of have to talk with the venue,
hmm
see where you can
see
go.
where you're allowed to go.
Yeah,
So
and then think about your edit and coverage.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
But should I-
center, sides.
hmm Yep.
That's usually what we
In center, I
end
usually
up
do
doing.
two. I do one tight and then one wide.
Mhm.
So 2 cameras side by side.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do like one in back of the other. Like if side by side doesn't work, you get more of a center shot if they're lined up behind one another. So I'll take one of my Z150s as the main center, zoomed in, and then I'll put my X70 behind it, higher up in the air.
Higher up, yeah.
So yeah, that works really well. All right. Okay.
What OS is the server running? Windows Server or Linux?
So originally started out with Windows Server 2016, but I since actually switched it to Windows 10 because I didn't know this ahead of time. The network card built into the motherboard, there is no driver for Windows Server, so I couldn't connect to the network. I hacked a version to make it work, but every time I booted, I'd have to say, yes, it's okay to use the hack driver, and
Oh.
so, and yeah, I said screw it, and said Windows 10, it's been fine. So, yeah. Okay.
What are your thoughts on using an Atem Mini just as a live stream encoder and some bigger switcher behind it?
If I'm doing a live stream for a client, I don't like having an encoder that doesn't support bonding. So
Doesn't support what?
bonding, which is where you use multiple internet connections, so you have some
Oh.
redundancy.
Mhm.
It's one of the reasons I like using the Teradek, because that way I can go through the venue internet and have cellular, and maybe jump on a Wi-Fi. So having multiple connections for whenever a client is paying me is kind of essential. I don't like to do them without, and Atem Mini doesn't do that. So it can work, but you're banking on not having a problem with your internet. So yeah,
Yeah, that's probably the biggest
yeah.
thing.
Weigh your risk and see what's worth to you. So all right.
Do you have any idea if when BMD will release new switches?
No, I have no inside information on that. So, and even if I did, I couldn't tell you.
Did they not? Didn't they release?
They've updated a number of
something?
products. They did a new Atem Mini not too long ago.
okay.
Atem Mini Pro
That's what I
ISO.
was
It's one
thinking.
Katie said that she got.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't released hardly any other new switchers for a while. I think we're probably due. I mean, like the model I'm using, it's been out for like 5 years now, which is kind of an eternity in video production time.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it for 3 years. I knew it wasn't brand new then. But I really have no idea. So, yeah.
Hi, Switzerland. It's supposed to be beautiful there too. My
Yeah.
friend went on her honeymoon there, and she said it was like being in a painting. It was
I'm sure.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
that'd
looked
be
really
awesome.
pretty.
The Alps and whatnot. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hi, Doug. Have you ever had any time to work on the replay software you promised a few years back? I'm ready to buy.
Well, I only work on stuff that I need, and we haven't done any sporting events for a long time, so it's
Oh yeah, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon
yeah.
either.
not
Don't
much.
really need it.
Not much going on in that world. So.
What cameras do you use for live events? Sony Z150, MFT and Sony X90.
70. She always gets those confused. So mostly the Z150s, yeah. I love the Z150. It's a great camera. My only complaint with it is when you're shooting in 4K, it blinks the screen when you're sending video out the output on the back. Now I wish the SDI did 4K, but other than that, it's a fantastic camera. Super, super sharp.
Aren't you getting a new Sony? Which one? Or no?
I thought I was decided on the Z90. I'm wavering a little bit on it, so yeah. But I am going to be getting a new camera, an additional camera, here in the next few weeks.
My favorite's the Z90. It's small.
So for live events. Stuff,
yeah,
yes.
for live events.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, yeah, it has a couple of quirks. Like the SDI won't output at 30 frames per second. You can do 24, 60, but it won't do 30. So when I shoot an event at 30, I have to output a 60 and then convert it and before it goes into my switcher.
That's annoying.
And that's a little annoying, yeah. I don't know why.
That is weird that it wouldn't do that, because it's a broadcast camera.
Right, I know.
You usually shoot in 30 frames.
And other than that, it's like essentially identical to the Z150, so it's weird that it has that one feature difference. So, but another reason I like the Z150 is they have separate rings for iris, zoom, and focus, whereas the 70 and the 90, it's one combined ring that only does zoom or focus, and iris has to be done through the menu. So it's takes a little more effort to adjust things, but image quality is the same. So, yeah. Okay.
What was the flickering? Is it HDMI?
No, it was not HDMI. So they're one of the outputs on my routing switcher. When you're sending a 4K signal through it, it flickers. It might be a cable. I just haven't had a chance to check it.
It's always a cable.
It's very often a cable.
Just a stupid
but although it would be
cable.
unusual, I'm not sure I've ever had one of my homemade SDI cables ever go bad. So I'll test it. It could be, but probably not a super high chance that's what it is. So anyway, I just routed through another input and it's fine. So.
Hi, Denmark.
All right.
I like to go to all these places. Let's be realistic. Thoughts on VP8, VP9, AVC1?
6 of one, half dozen of the other. They're all about the same thing. They're all based on or similar to MPEG 4. So, yeah. All right.
Atem Mini passes full range dynamics across
All right,
USB.
we must be responding to somebody else, but yeah, the Atem Mini USB output is very highly compressed. So, yeah, I wouldn't use it if you can get away with it. You're going to get a much better quality image if you use the HDMI output instead of USB. So, yeah. Oh, we're actually almost caught up. That's crazy.
Have you ever used Casper CG?
I have. So it's a piece of software used to generate graphics in real time. I've never used it for like lower thirds or anything like that because I have my own software for that. I have used it for video playback a number of times. It works pretty well for that. It's totally free. Very hard to use. That's the big problem with it. You guys got to spend a lot of time with it to figure it out. So, yeah. Okay.
I have Atem Mini Pro ISO. Why can't it do 720 for Facebook?
Not me. It's a choice that Blackmagic made. That it only supports 1080p. That will do 24, 60, 24, 25, 60.
25?
Yeah, for Europe.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it can do
Sorry.
24, 25, 30,
Europe.
50, or 60 frames per second in 1080, but it won't do 720. So just a choice they made. I suspect the hardware is probably capable of it. They just elected not to do it. So, but your streaming software should be able to do something. And Facebook actually will accept a 1080. Every time I've streamed to Facebook, I've sent them 1080 and it's fine. So we did a live stream to Facebook a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it worked just fine.
Okay.
It does 1080. So, yeah. All right.
I like to stream on Video Go for bonding, but what do you suggest for streaming on Zoom when you can't use the Video Go for bonding?
Let's see. Do I have my stuff out still? Yeah, I do actually. I will be doing a video about this at some point, but I picked up a number of these things off of Amazon. It's an HDMI capture device, so HDMI video input, and then it goes to USB. and then Zoom recognizes it, and that works pretty well. So, nice thing about this
It's
is
just USB 3 HDMI video capture.
Yeah,
Who makes it?
I don't know.
China?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's made in China.
There's a million of them that are like. There's another one right next to it. Another brand, essentially the same thing. I'm sure it has very similar internals. There's a million of these things under different brands on Amazon. It's like, I think it's about $70 for this one. This one will actually take a 4K signal as well. But I like it as an output, so you can daisy chain it to a monitor, so you can see what's going on or something like that. So it works really well. I've used this on Zoom a number of times, and it's been flawless. So I've used a couple of the cheaper ones. In fact, might be one on the desk right here. Is there a little HDMI thing right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's another capture device. That'll also work that'll also work with Zoom.
But not 4K.
That one does not do 4K. That's 1080 only. I have had some issues with colors going weird with this one.
Oh.
But this one has worked really well. So most of the time, a lot of the video capture devices that are out there, like the Blackmagic ones, they don't work with Zoom. Zoom doesn't see that they even exist. And so, yeah, I've got this trailer full of fancy video stuff, and I couldn't do anything with Zoom until I got some of these guys. So unfortunately, it's HDMI instead of SDI. But yeah, so I should probably tell a little bit about what we did the other day. So it was a virtual award show, and we had as many as 3 Zoom calls going on at once. So we had one that was the host, and another call that was well, we didn't really do nominees. It was all winners. Everybody was on.
It's all the filmmakers who
won
got an award.
So
mostly.
And then a third call was isolating the person who was going to win. So we could
pick
cut just to them,
and they wouldn't know.
Yep, exactly. But I use these to send video back to all the people that were in the calls. So it worked well. I was pretty happy with them. So, but yeah.
And we had 5 groups, so not everyone on the call was. So we'd have like a session and then switch to another group, get everyone in the call, and then start. Yeah. But one of the host was on a Zoom too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So she was on the whole time on a separate call.
Yeah, like 5 hours.
And then we'd get other people in 10 minutes later.
Swap out the rest of them. So, but yeah, having separate calls meant that we could always have her on screen.
Yep.
And then we'd have another view that was either the Brady Bunch view, which we didn't really use, but the Brady Bunch view, and then the third was just isolated. So I'd use the pin feature in Zoom to pin a single participant full screen on a third computer, and then we could cut between those. And that worked really well. So, yep.
It's a long day.
Yeah, especially for her. She did pretty much everything.
I think I worked 24 hours in like 2 days. 2 or 3 days.
Preparing all the graphics.
Prep and then recording and then editing.
Yeah.
So
she ran that one. I was going to be out of town, so I actually asked her to run it, and she did a great job. So, okay.
I've just got the Atem Mini ISO Pro, and on a recording I have noticed some image flickering down one side of the recording. Has anyone else seen the same?
I haven't seen that, so hopefully somebody in the chat room can actually weigh in on that one. So,
any suggestions for software for instant replays and graphics other than Casper CG?
For replay, take a look at VMix. VMix can actually do that, and relatively affordable, way cheaper than a hardware solution. Then graphics. ProPresenter is one to look at there. So, again, I have my own, so I've never looked into that a whole lot. So.
Presenter.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think it's worth buying the Atem streaming bridge to add an additional output to the Mini Pro?
Maybe. The problem with that is it's delayed. So there's a significant delay, like a quarter of a second minimum. Going that way.
Oh.
And that ties up your encoder as well. So if you're using your Atem Mini to do a live stream, you can't do that and go to the streaming bridge at the same time. Alrighty.
How's your experience been with your Cinegear wireless rig?
Okay. You can actually answer this. Like, you use that for your web service thing, so wireless monitor.
Oh, the monitor.
Yeah. So.
I mean, the picture was really nice, and
You didn't have any dropouts or anything anywhere?
no dropouts. The only thing is, it was hard. So we had to have it couldn't be handheld because then we'd have to put in the transmitter.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I wasn't able to use it when we had handheld
Yeah,
shots, which was basically half of
anytime
the
the
movie.
camera was not on the tripod, we disconnected the transmitter, so we weren't able to do that. But that had nothing to do with it.
It has nothing to do with the monitor, but
So, and then
it's a big monitor too, which was really nice.
right, like a 9-inch or something like
Yeah.
that. And then you actually ran the wireless system on a camera for that comedy show we did, outdoor comedy show that we did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that worked pretty well for the most part. But there was a couple parts where the signal was starting to drop out. But I think you were getting kind of far away at that point, and our receiver was stuck in a tree. So
Oh, it was.
yeah. So we had a couple of dropouts on that, but
Because we're in a parking lot and it was fairly big, so.
So other than that, it's actually worked pretty well. So
Mhm.
so yeah, just had good luck with it. I'd say it's probably on par with the Teradek Bolt. I've used that as well. So Nate uses the Teradek Bolt for his wireless, and
Oh, okay.
they seem to be pretty comparable. Most of those things are actually being built out of the same hardware. So as long as somebody's putting halfway decent antennas on them, they're mostly going to work the same. So, yeah. Alrighty.
Howdy, y'all from Texas. I like
Howdy.
the GT designer from VMix.
Okay, so that's the solution for graphics, I guess. Again, I haven't used it, but I don't know how many people on the stream actually know this, but I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston, so.
And I was in Houston 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I have some friends
I was there last weekend.
Yeah.
Technical
And
graphics.
you're going back too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Alrighty. Yeah.
Facebook accepts 1080p but plays back 720. Only gaming playback is 1080p.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've never had any issues sending 1080p to Facebook. Done it many times. It's always just worked much just fine. So, yep.
What is the best SDI switcher for small live events? Atmos, shotgun, 7 losses, all the signals, including output when SDI. One input is off.
Yeah.
I think I might need glasses for screens.
Oh, I can't make that bigger.
That's why I'm squinting. It's just a little too small.
I use the Television Studio HD. I don't know if it's necessarily the best. I mean, the best switcher is the one that has the capabilities for what you're doing. So I don't know. I mean, there's a number of options out there. Atomos, Shogun. Yeah, it's not really meant for that. So it can do it, but it's not really ideal. So.
Can you link the video capture USB-C item from Amazon? We like to use the stuff you and Whit tested already, please and thanks.
Yeah, so I can do that. But again, I'm planning on doing a video about it. So I bought a whole pile of these things. I've got
Oh yeah.
I've got like 10 of them, 10 different ones. Test them out. So yeah, we'll do a video at some point. But I can certainly link to that one. That's the one that I rely on the most. So.
Atem Mini works with Zoom. Any UVC device Zoom will recognize.
Yep. So that's because the Atem Mini pretends to be a webcam, whereas most of the other video capture devices, they're video capture devices, not webcams.
Right.
So yeah. Okay.
I'm wondering if I'm going to buy a BMD Ursa Broadcast. Do you have any reasons? Feedback. Goddard. Nay, la la la.
Get the point.
Yeah.
I personally have not used the Ursa Broadcast. I have an Ursa Mini 4K that I've used. I don't use it hardly any. What do we use that camera for, Whit?
Props. We don't really use it. It's so heavy.
It's become mostly a prop for her Instagram, to be honest.
I've used it at Icon. No, but not the broadcast. The Mini.
Yeah,
but
I hear the broadcast is a little better about the low light sensitivity issues. But again, I haven't used it.
I've used I used it at Western Governors University.
And what'd you think?
I mean, we barely used it. I mean, I didn't really get to become too familiar with it, but it's a weird looking camera.
It's an Ursa being used for broadcast.
Yeah, it's got a nice big monitor. For the most part, it gave off a nice image. I directed those, so I didn't necessarily camera operate for those. But yeah, I don't have too much to say. I just remember they worked really well.
Okay, next one.
I have 2 DSLRs and 2 4K mirrorless cameras. Thinking about picking it up a Sony NX100 non-4K as my first dedicated video camera. Do you ever deliver to clients in 4K? No.
Ever? Yes, but
Can.
it's not, doesn't happen very often. So for live streaming, no one's ever asked us to do 4K, not once. But we have shot in 4K. So in fact, the wedding reception things that we shot recently, we did those in 4K.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, for live streaming, I've never had anybody ask for 4K. Like, who's going to watch live streaming in 4K? How do you distribute it? So
Nerds.
yeah, exactly.
I can on my computer. It's a 4K monitor.
Yep. Yeah, you're all set to go.
I know.
NX100, it's actually a pretty cool camera. I did buy one of those once upon a time. I returned it almost immediately though because I was doing 4K. You know, I bought it.
Oh.
It's basically an HD version of the Z150.
Okay.
It looks exactly the same. All the connections are the same. The other issue was same issue with the X70. The SDI output won't do. That one doesn't have SDI. That one's HDMI only. Never mind. So, but it does produce a really nice image. So if you're working in HD, that's a pretty good camera.
Went for bonding internet connection for Zoom since we can't use video. Go with bonding.
Okay. So yeah, Zoom you can't do any sort of bonding. So, yeah. Alrighty. Spencer, I guess you're probably talking to somebody else in the chat. So.
I like QLab for video playback and for controlling media players, and the Atem with
Atem OSC.
Atem OSC.
So I haven't used QLab. I know a lot of people have used QLab. I have not personally used it myself. So I know that Sierra here uses that very heavily for video playback and whatnot. So.
I heard that VMix's integration with YouTube, not via custom RTMP, but actually there's integration turns on 1080p immediately. I didn't test it, but I want to test it in a couple days.
Yeah, so these days, most of these streaming solutions that automatically integrate with YouTube, you don't select the video format. It just does it for you. So, yeah. Alright.
Do you use VM Resolve or Fusion? If so, what do you think about them as a complete solution for studio?
I think Resolve is a great piece of software for doing coloring. As an editor, it's okay. I still prefer Premiere Pro.
I've never used Resolve. I always say I'm going to try it out, and I never do. But I love Adobe stuff, and I'm so used to it. I don't really feel like taking the time to learn another software that I don't need to know.
So, although you recently started learning the keyboard shortcuts and the proper keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, I had Final Cut 7 keyboard shortcuts for the majority of the time. So within the last few months, I've actually learned the real shortcuts.
Yeah,
so that's been nice.
Sort of teaching her a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've gotten faster, so it's good.
Fusion, I've never used.
I've never even heard of it.
That's their software that's sort of like After Effects.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's included with Resolve now.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So Danny,
streaming 1080
at 4K, yeah. So that's what we're doing here. So we're shooting this in 4K, recording it in 4K, but streaming it in 1080. So very common. Yep. Alrighty.
Most internet in North America struggles to receive 1080 live streaming. There's no audience for 4K live streams here.
That's true. That's changing. I am talking to so many people now that are getting super fast internet. Like, it seems like everybody I know is getting super fast internet now.
Well, everyone's on the internet.
Yeah, I mean we're on it all the time now. So I never thought my parents would ever be interested, but they've recently upgraded theirs to gigabit. My friend Brian in Texas, he also just upgraded to gigabit.
Yeah.
I know a ton of people here in Utah who have just signed up for Utopia, like I did, getting gigabit. It's becoming way more common. So
yeah,
I think COVID
It's going to be a while till it's 4K for everyone though.
Yeah, for sure. And very few people even have 4K monitors to watch.
I know. I told my mom, she's like, "Ooh, 4K."
So, I don't know how many people watch YouTube on their TVs. I mean, 4K TVs are really common now.
My mom does.
But
I think a lot of my dad, my mom, a lot of older people watch. Well, I don't know. I don't ever watch YouTube.
You look at the stats.
I do on my computer.
Yeah, it's funny. She's on a YouTube channel, but she doesn't really watch what YouTube.
I don't really watch YouTube.
But I look at the stats for people watching this channel, and it's mostly people watching from their computers, with a handful that watch on their phones.
Oh, okay.
And if that crowd isn't really watching in 4K, if the crowd for this channel isn't watching in 4K, I don't know who would be. So.
You don't really need to see us in 4K, if I'm being honest.
More her than me. So.
We're all nerds, but we're happy nerds. Great show. Yes. I'm a nerd too. That's why I'm allowed to say it.
So these recent videos where the video titles are we're calling people nerds. That's all.
Yeah.
So when you see a silly title or a silly message coming from us,
it's me.
So, alrighty.
QLab was built for theaters, but the enough functionality to be useful elsewhere. Mac only,
Mac
though
only,
can be tough.
Yeah.
Which can be tough.
So Spencer, what do you use at the Covey? I'm curious to hear what you got going on there. So Spencer runs a lot of the AV at the Covey Center here in Provo. So.
Oh. Am I the only one that is discouraged by the low bit rate choices Zoom makes as far as production is concerned?
Absolutely, yeah. And Zoom video quality is not amazing.
Isn't Skype? Didn't we determine Skype was better?
Skype has better video quality, but nobody can figure it out.
Zoom's definitely the easiest.
Yeah, by far it's easiest.
I just started using Zoom only a couple months ago, and I got on, and within 3 minutes I was like up and running. I was like, oh well, that was super easy.
Yeah, like every time I have to Skype with somebody, it's like this long drawn out ordeal. Like,
yeah.
How do I find you? How do I add you as a friend? Like, oh, come on. This should be way easier.
Yeah.
But we did, before we had a virtual event we did back in July, and we spent like a full day testing. Oh, that's because it went to sleep, not because...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we spent a full day testing all the different ones, and Skype was very clearly the highest quality video of any of them. Zoom was so much easier to use, so we just decided to go with Zoom. So.
Especially with the amount of people we had to get on the call, so.
Yep. Yeah, we had 20 some odd people we had to interact with that day. And if I had to troubleshoot Skype with all of them, we never would have finished. So.
And it was still a very long day, so.
Yep. Okay.
What do you think of the Atem Mini Pro ISO?
Well, if someone wants, if your cameras don't have the capability of recording, that's a decent. So that's the switcher they introduced like a month ago, where you can actually record each of your camera feeds individually. So connected hard drive. That's basically the only new feature that it added. But if your cameras can record locally, that's going to be a better quality recording than you're getting out of the Pro ISO. So it has a niche need for people who are using cameras that don't have local recording, or they're using cameras like DSLRs that can only record for 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and then they stop. That Pro ISO doesn't have that limitation. But yeah, the video quality on that is going to be a little bit lower than what you record natively in your camera. So yeah, it's not a product that I would personally buy, but.
Gigabit fiber here in upstate SC. I'm watching at 1080p 30.
Yeah, that's what we're streaming. We're streaming 1080p 30. We're actually streaming at 6 megabit. So technically higher than YouTube really allows. So I bet if we were to look, YouTube's probably screaming at us like, lower your bit rate, but
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, but gigabit fiber is definitely becoming a lot more common. I know a lot more people that have it now than ever before. So, thankfully. So.
Do you use the new advanced panels? I'm planning to order them for our 8K Constellation 8K production, and would like to get some advice on the middle version. The largest one is too big for us.
Now it is flickering for real. So I've been trying to get my hands on the 2ME version of it, the mid-size one. Out of stock, and Blackmagic does not have any loaners available. I've been trying to get my hands on one, but I haven't used one yet. So I'm actively trying. I'm actively pursuing that. So I would love to get one in. So yeah. All right.
Wait, YouTube has an overwhelming male audience. My wife has 100% priority on this TV, on the TV remote now.
Nice. So,
yeah.
Just for reference, her name is WHIT, just so you guys know. So.
It's fine though, because my handle on Instagram is Witty Film Girl. So.
Yeah, just so you guys know. All right. We'll skip that one.
Zoom has to prioritize low latency. That means lower quality video.
Yeah, well, maybe, but I think the real reason they're doing it is because they have to pay for all that bandwidth, and if they can reduce the quality, it's less bits and costs them less money. So it's a money thing.
Yeah, especially with how many people are using it now.
Yep. Oh yes, insane number of people are using it.
Crazy.
So.
I went on Instagram and I picked. I wrote in Zoom for a GIF.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, I didn't think there'd be this many.
Yep. Okay. All right. So this
What's
one.
your take on using TV screens over PC monitors?
They're different animals. I use both. I prefer PC monitors, high quality PC monitors for this sort of thing, like the LGs that I have basically everywhere here. Really, really good quality image, comes from the factory pre-calibrated, so you know what you're looking at is right, as right as it can be.
Yeah.
TVs tend to prioritize being overly bright and overly saturated to make them pop in the showroom at the store.
I hate that.
Yeah.
My mom got a new TV and I was like, what's wrong with the colors? I hate it. It looks fake. And it's just the way just the way the TV is, so I've had to get used to that. But yeah, I would definitely prioritize a monitor over a TV for sure.
Yeah. I think the monitors
just for color
give you a better quality. But you have to be careful though. Like these Dells that I buy, they will not handle a 1080i signal properly. They overscan it, so you're losing the outside edge, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no option in the menu, and they're also less flexible in terms of signal format. So I don't think I found an HD affordable monitor yet that will accept the 1080p 24 or 1080p 30 signal. They all want 1080p 60. So make sure if you're going to get one that's got a good return policy that doesn't support the video formats you want. The TVs all do. The TVs all work with all of those. But the computer monitors are a little bit selective about that. The 4K models, I've never had any problem with any video format. They accept them all. So, okay, this one's for you, Whit.
Thanks for your message the other day, Whit. You're most welcome. I love you two to bits. Thank you both for sharing your knowledge and experience. You're welcome, Katie.
So, yeah.
We need more women on this channel.
I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah, I need more women on my Instagram too. I think it's like 80% men.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys. We can do better.
I thought bringing you on would bring a few more women onto the channel, but
I think it did. I think we checked.
You look at the stats, and it's still 99% men.
Not much. No, not much.
So there's not a lot of women in the industry for some reason. So the percentage that I hire as part of my crews is way higher than other companies. So
for women,
I hire way higher percentage of women on my crews than other companies that are in the business. So if someone's capable of doing the job, who cares what?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I could go into that. I'm not going to though.
All right. So
I've been using the NDI features of Skype. It's awesome.
I've heard that it can work really well. I've also heard a lot of people talk about how much of a nightmare it is. So Skype has this feature where you can take all your remote video sources, all the people you're talking to, and then send them out over your network as an NDI video. So you can then bring them into your switcher as separate sources, which would be really, really cool for these virtual events that we're doing. Yeah. But I've heard so many horror stories about it, and I think it only supports 4. I think you only do 4 video sources that way. And my switcher doesn't support NDI, so it wouldn't really help me a whole lot. But,
okay. The client wants to charge for people to view the live stream. Any ideas on how to do this?
There are a number of services out there. The people that I've worked with that are doing that are using Vimeo, a professional version of Vimeo, and then they build their own paywall or use WordPress to build a paywall in front of it. So the reason I use Vimeo is because Vimeo, you can lock it down, or you can say people can only watch this stream if they're coming from my website.
Oh,
the other ones, like YouTube, you could embed something on a web page, but it's really easy to find out where that video is coming from and then share that link with anybody. And you can't lock it down, but with Vimeo you can. I know there are other platforms out there that do it, but whenever I've done it, it's always been through Vimeo. So, yeah. So Spencer replying to my question.
We run QLab for video and audio playbacks, also using OSC to talk to our light board. It's a great setup when we have time to program everything correctly.
Cool. Yeah, good to know. So that's a little outside the realm of what we do. We usually rely on the venues to handle that kind of stuff, but it's good to know people are using, so when someone asks. So, okay.
I can't decide whether or not to buy Atem Television Studio Pro 4K because of the built-in scalers. Do you have a better recommendation?
Yeah, it's one of those features that it doesn't hurt anything to have it. So I mean, if you're considering that one, why not? It's nice to have the feature, so if someone gives you a video source that is not the right format, it'll just automatically convert it. So, if I had the option to buy a switcher with it, I wouldn't hesitate. So, yeah.
Thoughts about the, what does it say?
YoloBox.
YoloBox portable all-in-one multi-camera live streaming encoder, switcher, monitor, recorder.
I haven't used it yet. I have seen a number of reviews popping up on YouTube recently. Apparently, the company is sending them out to reviewers. I think they even emailed me, asked me if I wanted to do it, but I never wrote them back. Yeah, but it's an all-in-one box that handles switching videos and then streaming and doing recording. So, looks interesting. It wouldn't make sense for what I'm doing, but that would for. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that it would make a lot of sense for. So, yeah. Okay.
What software are you using for titles?
Yeah, we kind of answered this earlier, but for this stream, I'm using H2R graphics for the chat questions. Normally, I use a piece of software that I wrote. So
HDR is hit record, right?
Here to record.
Here to record.
Yep. Exactly. So
he's got a channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's.
If you guys haven't subscribed, go subscribe. His channel is awesome. John Barker, Here to Record.
Barker, yeah.
So he does a fantastic job. Super nice guy too.
Where's he from?
He lives in Sweden.
Sweden. Yeah.
Originally from Ireland.
Are you using USD Upstate and SD? If so, maybe you can help me.
Chatter between. Let's go on to this one.
Does that say I?
Yeah.
I use a Dell monitor with my Mini Pro in a flight case.
Flight case, yeah.
I have to use a HD Pro scaler in between the Atem Mini Pro and monitor.
So yeah, that's going to vary on the monitor. Most monitors are going to, will accept 1080p 60. Well, in fact, they all will. Or 1080p 50 if you live in a country that has 50 frames a second. The 24 and 30 frame per second, that's where it's a little bit hit or miss. I have not found an affordable HD monitor that can do the 30 frames per second. I have had a couple that do 24, though I can't remember what models off the top of my head. I have a fancy Dell that I bought years ago for my computer. It works fine with all of those formats, but it was like $500 for HD, so I'm not going to recommend that for people. Yeah. Dell's Ultra Sharp series, a lot of those, well, but they're expensive. So, you gotta, if you actually need 24p or 20 or 30 frame, you can buy a TV and it'll work. You're not going to get the accurate colors that you will with a monitor. If you got the budget, these LGs that I use here in the trailer, it's a 27-inch 4K. They handle it all, and great image.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yep. She uses them enough.
Yeah. I always invite my women teammates. They are so uninterested. Well, it depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Yeah. I think it is kind of a little bit unusual for women to be into this. I have no idea the reason for that.
I'm not necessarily into live streaming, though. I'm definitely more into
and that's
filmmaking,
even that's kind of a little bit unusual.
Creative.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just women aren't seen. I know a lot of women. They're just not necessarily putting themselves out there to be seen, I guess.
Yeah.
Not so much like I am. Because I've been in film for 15 years, and I've only been recognized the last 2 years, but it's not like I stopped. I just wasn't afraid to show people, so I think that's kind of what it is, too.
Yep. So, it's good to have both to get the unique perspective. So.
The Atem Mini TV Studio HD seems to output an HDMI U
42
multiview, which my DVI computer
throw it up again here.
Computer monitor seems to not tolerate RGB only, perhaps, but a cheap 1080p TV works.
Yeah.
And the TV versus computer monitor.
So, yeah, again, prioritize. If you want good color, you almost have to go to computer monitor. If you want to accept every video format out there, you can get a cheap TV. If you want both, that's where you get into the higher end. If you get a 4K monitor, they almost always support all of it.
You're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, it'll cost you. So.
I noticed 1 gigabytes in US is just new. In Japan, I use 40 gigabytes, 140 gigabytes planned, using 2.5 gigabytes as fallback.
Fallback, yeah.
Fallback as American. In Japan, sad to hear, 10 gigabytes not available.
It's not that 10 gigabits not available. I could get 10 gigabit if I wanted. It just cost me a lot more money than what I'm paying. So my ISP does offer 10 gigabit. I'd be paying $200 a month instead of $50 a month. I can't use it. It's funny, before I was on this, I had Comcast, 50 megabit down, 10 megabit up. I upgraded to gigabit, so gigabit up and down. Uploading big files, way faster. But just general internet browsing, can't hardly tell the difference. So for most people, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to pay for all of that. So, yeah.
What is for you the best titler software hardware to connect with an Atem?
Well, for me, this is the one that I wrote.
Yeah.
Because it meets my needs. But people in the chat room weigh in, so let people know what you use and if you like it or not. So, yeah. One solution, if you have Photoshop will actually talk to Atem switchers directly. So you produce your graphic in Photoshop, and then there's an export option that'll upload it to the Atem, so you don't have to save it and then go into the Atem software and upload it there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's an option. So I mean, if you've already got Photoshop, you can do that. So create your lower third, select the text, change it, and then render it out to the Atem. So pretty fast. So yeah. Okay. You probably haven't heard about this yet.
See that Canon C70, I pre-ordered mine at Sam's.
So yeah, just today, Canon announced a new film style camera. It's called the C70.
Oh, cool.
It uses the same RF mount that my EOS RP uses, the camera that you've got on mine right now. It looks like it's a pretty cool camera. It's under $6,000. Just 4K. It's not super high res, but it looks like it has a lot of cool advantages. So.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that. I love Canon.
Yep.
I'm a little biased though. I started out with Canon cameras, so I just have always loved them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I use Canon for stills and I use Sony for video. So, but I don't have anything against either brand. Like when I got these cameras, Sony was the only one offering this level of performance at this price. Nobody else had done it yet. Panasonic still hadn't come out with theirs. Canon still hadn't come out with theirs. But I wanted 4K, SDI. Live. And so, yeah.
What are the model names of the monitors in the trailer?
Well, I've had these several years, so they're not available anymore. But can't remember the exact model name. I do have a link on my link shortener, so djp.li/LG27 4K. So just type that in your browser. LG27 4K. Yeah, so that'll take you to the ones that I use up front monitor wall here. So, all right. Dell 8K. So do I need to replace everything with 8K monitors now?
Might as well.
Alright, so let's see. People talking to each other there, so yeah. Actually more or less caught up. So yeah.
Well, we've only been doing this for an hour and 40 minutes, so.
Yeah, well, that's a little longer normal one, isn't it? So.
But we haven't been on here for a while, so.
Yeah, so. But the next live stream that we do is going to be just for members. So that'll be a little more intimate. Be able to spend more longer on each question.
More detailed questions you guys want.
Not the rush through it all like we do here. But if you wanted to get in on that, you want to join the channel as a member. We don't have it scheduled yet. don't know exactly when it's going to be, but yeah, the next one will be for members and Patreon supporters only. So if you want to participate in that live stream, you'll have to be backing the channel in that way. So.
Yep.
So, yeah, we will definitely be producing a fair amount of content for the members of the channel. So if you want more stuff, that's how you get it. Click the little join button down below the video here. So, yeah,
yep.
So Danny's saying 70 is the entry level between the C100 and C200. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I've used the C200 a little bit.
I've used it
Those
as well.
Are nice.
Yeah, they're nice cameras.
Mm-hmm.
C70 has some capabilities that C200 does not. So we'll see. Yeah, there's a good chance that they discontinue the C200 with the advent of the C70. The C70 is kind of weird looking. It looks like a big version of kind of like the big version of the EOS RP. It's a DSLR looking file format, but it's way deeper. So the camera itself is like that deep instead of, like that. But, so I'll show you after we finish the stream. So.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess it's an answer to the earlier question, like what switcher does somebody recommend for SDI? So, anyway. Oh, more questions come in. We'll start wrapping it up after this group, so.
Where do you think BMD is in the marketplace compared to other companies? For us, it has been a one-stop 8K shop. However, I have noticed problems with their equipment interfacing. What's your opinion?
Blackmagic is most definitely a value product. They give you a lot of features for the money.
I like Blackmagic.
So, yeah, and you have a perspective filmmaker, like coming to Pocket Cinema cameras
the
and
Pocket
whatnot.
Cinema cameras.
So they're very well loved in that
I
industry.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of broadcast and live events, the people who've been in the industry for a long time kind of look down on them because they're not quite built as well as like a Sony or something like that. But they also don't have the price is a fraction of what it would be otherwise. So obviously I like most Blackmagic stuff. My trailer is full of it. I don't use their cameras, but switchers, converters, all their fiber stuff, I rely on that very heavily. And I've had it work fine. So, but it is more prone to having issues with heat. So you gotta make sure you keep it cool. But in terms of interfacing with other equipment, the only problem I've had interfacing Blackmagic design with other when you're dealing with a 3 gig SDI, Blackmagic uses level B. A lot of the professional video industry uses level A, and so you can run into some interface issues there. But these days, Blackmagic does support level A, so if you do have to interface with other people's, you can just switch it over. For the most part, be okay.
My colleague has bought a couple of Canon HFG50 cameras for the non-profit digital media company he runs. Nice looking cameras for prosumer.
And there you go. So yeah, Canon does produce nice cameras. I have nothing against them whatsoever. So,
Have you ever integrated a drone in live events?
We have a number of times. The 4th of July thing we do every year, we have drones for that, at least one. Some years two. So it's actually really easy. The controllers just have an HDMI output, and we plug it in just like any other camera. So it hasn't been hard to do. And then we put the pilots on Intercom, so we can give them directions just like all the other camera operators. So, yeah. What's Katie referring to here? I know she's talking about the knee video we just released, but I don't know what she's responding to. So,
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so the Canon C70. Dual gain output with the same processor and sensor as the C300 Mark III. Yeah. So, there you go.
I haven't used my PC a whole lot, but it's really fast. The monitor's really nice. I spent some time playing with After Effects a little bit. It works great. We've just been so busy. I've been kind of sad I haven't been able to use it as much as I'd like, but it's a great computer. I still can't believe I have it. Doesn't feel real. It still doesn't feel real yet. So hopefully I'll be able to use it more soon.
So yeah, she's still doing most of the work here. So
mostly because assets, transferring assets, is a pain.
That would be a real pain.
And I don't have the space
And if you were to take stuff home and edit it, how would you upload it? Because your internet's not super fast.
And my internet's not very good at my house.
It'd be fast.
So
It'd be way faster for you to drive back over here.
I would
upload it
definitely
here.
drive back over here. So
So just edit.
unless I couldn't be here, then
sense,
it'd make more sense for me to just be here. But
and she's got keys to the trailer. She can get in anytime. I don't have to be here for her to come work. So yeah. So Drake.
bought a Mophie LTE router based on your recommendations. My building is currently only getting 6 megabit upload speed over Cat 5. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
Thoughts are running LTE only versus having both connected. Thanks for what you do.
If you can do both, that's going to be better than just going with one. Yeah, that's a toss-up. 6 megabits, not a lot. If you can get consistent faster speeds on LTE, I would maybe lean that direction. But for the most part, your wired is always going to be more consistent than LTE. So, test. And if you can do bonding, do both. It gives you a backup. So, all right. We'll skip Danny's. Thanks, Danny.
Is it possible to get video out of a consumer level DJI drone like Mavic or Phantom?
The Mavics are a little harder. You'd have to pull video off of a connected cell phone or tablet, but the Phantoms do have a module you can put on the bottom. If mine was handy, I'd grab it. But I actually bought the module for my Phantom. Mm-hmm. It goes on the bottom of the transmitter and gives you an HDMI output on the Phantom series. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Worked pretty well. So, all right. Well, I think we got to wrap it up. What do we have to announce? Anything?
No, we have another virtual stream.
Big virtual event going on
Wednesday,
next
so we'll be busy doing that beginning of the week.
We may not have another video. We'll try, but we may not have another video on the channel. We do have a quick tip that we shot and put up, but other than that, so we're trying, guys. It's just been insanely busy. So
busy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Share, like, subscribe, as always.
We got a new TD shirt in the merch store.
Yep.
I call the shots.
Would have worn it today, but it got delayed in the mail.
And if you're a member, you get discounts on all the merchandise.
So yeah, members 20% off. Get 20% off on all the merch, and members also get access to a version of my Crew Access website. So if you're running your own production company, or even a filmmaker, actually.
Even if you're just running a film, I used it for my short film, and it was great because I knew everyone would get all the information they needed multiple times and texts and
the site
whatever
definitely
else
does a great job of communicating with people.
Yeah, it's very nice, especially if you have a
on.
small crew and you don't really have someone dedicated to being an AD or, you know.
Yeah, it's, for our Fork Fest thing, when you were talking with Jeff.
Yeah, I hired a friend I know from school, and I was like, he was asking me questions. I was like, here, I'm gonna give you over to Doug. You're gonna get everything that you need.
Yeah, the
and
website
then I didn't have to worry about it.
Send him everything, so all the details he needed, like where to be and when, and reminders, and the call sheets, just all automatically went out. So the site does all that, and members of the channel get access to a version of that site that has all the advertising removed and some of the limitations bumped up compared to the normal free plan.
Yep.
And totally worth it, absolutely totally worth it. So you can get that at the $2 a month benefit level. So yeah, so hey guys.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one, whenever that might be.
Whenever that is.
So, wish I could tell you, but we just don't know yet. So, anyway. Alrighty. Let's see. Go to. Yeah, let's go to fade to black. Okay. Thanks everyone. See you later.
Bye.